Okay, so we've got someone from Canada, in Arlington, and I think we have San Francisco. Welcome. All right, we're going to go ahead and start this presentation. Okay. So thank you for everyone that's attending. I know we have some current clients, some prospective clients, and then we have a partner that has joined us today for this webinar. So we get a lot of questions from our clients about ways to reduce our AWS costs. So we wanted to put together just kind of a quick presentation around different strategies that we initiate for our clients, and wanted to share some information. Some of these things can be done on your own. They can be done with us, and anyone who wants to hop on a call with us afterwards and go through some strategies that we could implement for you. At the very end of this presentation, there's a slide with contact information. And also you can reach out to me. I am Lydia at allcode.com, which leads me to, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Lydia Benham, and I work for AllCode, and I run our partnership with AWS and also manage our clients, our AWS clients as well. And we are a full software development firm. We are an advanced AWS partner, and we really like to work with our clients very closely to monitor their AWS stacks, help them configure things like cost reductions, and also make sure that they are running with the best either hybrid options or full AWS options, but just getting them transferred over to the cloud because that is the most cost optimized option these days. If any of you have any questions in regards to getting onto any AWS products, please feel free to reach out. We have a great sales team and people that are very, very knowledgeable. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our next slide. Okay, so we have brought a special guest onto here, and his name is Jeff, and I will let him introduce himself, but he is with Archera. Archera is a partner of ours that also helps us further reduce AWS costs. Jeff, do you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself and say hi before we get to your slides?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm Jeff Haynes. I'm part of the marketing team here at Archera. We're really excited to partner with AllCode and to present to you today.
Great. Thank you so much. One quick, I'm just gonna stop this really quickly. I had to check something. Okay, so we'll just keep going. So this is a really good quote. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. So we put this in here just to kind of bring awareness to what the reasoning is behind making sure that you are actually watching small things like small costs. We know for businesses, profit margins are critical, and smart cost decisions unlock higher agility, stronger competitive positioning, greater profitability, and long-term investment. So this is a critical piece, especially for maximizing your margins. And so this is something that is very important depending on how much your usage is and how large your company is. So what is cost optimization? Cost optimization is the process of reducing your overall costs while maximizing business value and performance. And it's a very, very critical piece of your strategy with AWS. And it's crucial due to the flexible and scalable nature of AWS services. So a lot of our customers and clients come to us because they want to be on AWS because of the scalability and because of the way that the pricing is flexible. And this can lead to cost overruns if it's not properly managed. So really quickly, any of you, if you have specific questions, let's go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll have someone that's monitoring that. And we have a Q&A portion at the very end of this, because I know some people will probably have questions. So how does AWS pricing work? So we have four pieces to understanding the AWS pricing model. The first part is pay as you go. This is you pay for only the services that you use without upfront costs. This is an option that is used by a lot of customers, especially when they're new to AWS and they're coming on. It's a lot easier for you to come in, set up an AWS product and start using it as a pay-as-you-go model. And it's a little bit more palatable for smaller businesses as well. The next piece is spot instances. It's a bid for unused EC2 capacity. And basically the Amazon EC2 spot instances, they let you take advantage of unused EC2 capacity within the AWS cloud, and it's available to up to a 90% discount compared to your on-demand prices, which is going to be your pay-as-you-go model. And you can also use spot instances for various stateless, fault-tolerant, or flexible applications, such as big data, containerized workloads, CI/CD, web servers, high-performance computing, and test and development workloads. And then the other prong is reserved instances, which these are the Amazon EC2 reserved instances, and they provide a significant discount. It can be up to 72% compared to on-demand pricing, which is your pay-as-you-go, and provide a capacity reservation when used in a specific availability zone. The benefit here is that you're going to save money and maintain flexibility. And then the fourth prong is your savings plans. And this would be flexible pricing models offering significant savings compared to your on-demand pricing. So these are your four pricing model options. So how to understand your AWS spend. We have a lot of clients that don't understand the billing that's coming through, which naturally it's its own animal of itself. So it can be confusing. And so this is us walking through just some opportunities and some information. And I will actually show you just a little bit of one of our dashboards, just to get you kind of familiar with that billing dashboard a little bit. But we'll start off with like analyzing and monitoring your costs through AWS Cost Explorer, which is a really cool feature in there. So AWS Cost Explorer, it has an easy to use interface that lets you visualize, understand, and manage your AWS costs and usage over time. It's really easy to get started really quickly. You can create custom reports that analyze cost and usage data. You can also analyze your data at a high level. For example, you can analyze like total costs or usage across all of your accounts. And you can also dive deeper into your cost and usage data to identify trends. You can pinpoint cost drivers and detect anomalies. And then in regards to Cost Explorer, it is an added on feature, and you can, if you are interested in configuring that within your billing console, please reach out to us. We'd love to walk you through that and tell you how you can take advantage of leveraging it and how it can improve your data insights into spending. And then the next one is AWS budgets, which you can set custom cost and usage budgets and receive alerts. This is a really, really cool feature. We do this for a lot of our clients, especially when they have thresholds that they can't go over. And the alerts can be easily customizable as well. This is a really good thing to use, especially if you are kind of bootstrapping, you're on a specific budget for spend, to get those alerts so you can see like you're coming up 20% to your threshold. It's very, very helpful, especially when you are on a budget. And then you have your AWS billing and cost management dashboard, which is available to every AWS user. It provides a comprehensive view of your AWS charges. It's super easy to use, and also gives you just a really good bird's eye view of the spend. Your dashboard, there's a lot of things you can do in it. I'll show you in a second after we go through the rest of this, but it's a fun dashboard to get in and kind of play around, especially if you're have questions about what the costs are and kind of where your spend is going. And then tags and cost allocation. This is also a really cool feature as well. You can use tags to categorize and track costs by projects or departments. Essentially, your tag is going to be like a label that you or AWS assigns to an AWS resource. And then after you activate cost allocation tags, AWS uses the cost allocation tags to organize your resource costs on your cost allocation report. This will make it easier for you to categorize and track your AWS costs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this screen. And I'm going to show you a dashboard. Maybe. Okay. Okay. So this is just, let me see. This is just one of our accounts for billing and cost management. This is like your home. When you go in here, you're going to see here's a cost summary. You can have like month to date cost, last month's total cost. You have breakdown. All of this is very, very, very configurable. And here is Archera. You made it to our dashboard, Archera. So you can see in here, it's bills, payments, credits, cost analysis. Here is your cost explorer. And this is very configurable as well. You can build different reports depending on what data is most important to you. You can do date range, granularity. You can group by different services, different AWS resources, and go through and you can see kind of like it color codes what the spend is here. So we can see it's like Elastic Container, EC2, VPC, Elasticache. So you can change and configure these according to what you want to see within here. Like most AWS products, it's like the more you dig in, the more you realize that you can do with it. So I think it's wise to spend a little bit of time kind of going through this, or if you would like, you can reach out to us and just let us know what it is you want to see, and we can configure this dashboard for you as well. And then here's like your cost allocation tags, which we have inactive ones, and then budgets and planning. So I don't think we have any budgeting set up yet in here, not yet, but you can easily create one. So let me go back. Again, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. And we'll go back to our presentation. Okay. So your problems are you have unexpected high costs due to lack of monitoring. You can over provision resources. You can have an inefficient use of storage. You can also have underutilized reserved instances, which we talked about reserving, and then complex billing leading to confusion. Because the reality is a lot of clients, like we have a specific size of team that have the bandwidth to go through and audit our billing. So if you can set it up right and set it up well at the beginning, it helps so you can easily understand and be tracking and monitoring your spend. The solutions are Number one, implementing AWS Cost Explorer and setting up budgets and alerts, which we looked at that dashboard and we discussed the benefits of Cost Explorer. Two is performing regular right sizing and use auto scaling groups. Three, optimizing your storage solutions with tiered storage options. Four, regularly reviewing and adjusting your reserved instances strategy. And then five, use detailed tagging and cost allocation reports, which we just looked at that tagging dashboard within our billing and management console. Okay, so I'm sure you all are wondering, after all of this information, I'm sure you're like, Lydia, but how do we actually reduce our costs? So these are similar concepts that we talked about. It's going to be number one, right sizing. Just matching that instant type and size to your workload needs. This seems very commonplace, makes sense, but do you really spend the time to do it? If you don't have the time to do it, we will help you and come in and do this for you. Two is you're leveraging your reserved instances and saving plans. You can leverage long-term commitments for discounts. And then three, we have identifying your idle resources. This is huge. You'd be surprised how many clients or customers we've had will go in and realize that there's a lot of idle resources that are just sitting there. Someone will spin something up and then they're just not using it, or it's just old resources that have been sitting there for years and people have forgotten about. So I would say that this happens a lot and a lot more than people realize. So going down and auditing that and then shutting down those or consolidating those unused resources can be a huge cost saver. Optimizing your storage, using your appropriate storage classes and cleaning up your old data. Five, leveraging spot instances that we discussed earlier. So just using those spot instances for non-critical workloads can actually be huge for saving your spend. And then automating infrastructure. You can use auto scaling to adjust resources dynamically. And then the last one is regular reviews. So this kind of depends on what you have implemented within your company. If you have like quarterly reviews, annual reviews would even be like a great place to start. We have some people that actually don't even like go in and review. But any kind of review process, if you have someone going in and just taking a look, like I said, like are there idle resources? That's a huge one. Are we leveraging spot instances? Looking and seeing if we're doing any right sizing. That's a really good process and thing to do within your company, and it's easy to just build in, especially quarterly or even yearly. It's just a good way to kind of see what ways that you can save money. And the benefits of going through cost optimization is that you can participate in flexible purchase options for your workloads. You also have elastic resource provisioning for variable demand. Also improved resource utilization efficiency. We're hoping for efficiency always means fast. And then better price performance with AWS designed silicon. We also have a couple just additional practical tips. Sometimes you may not have a dedicated resource or someone to go in and kind of check for idle resources or do right sizing. So a couple things, just quick things that you can kind of look at and have someone on your dev team do, or again, we as your dev team will go in and audit some of these things and let you know, hey, you can save about 50% here, or you can save about 20% here. You can stop or right size your EC2 instances, snapshot and delete idle EBS volumes, or leverage lower cost S3 storage tiers. Storage can get expensive in a hurry, especially if you're using it for like videos or images, anything that those file types that are a little bit larger. It really can add up. You can also pause unused RDS and Redshift instances You can optimize DynamoDB or remove idle load balancers. So now we have gotten to our exciting partner portion of our webinar. We met Jeff early on. Archera is a partner of ours that we've chosen to join with to help our customers save even more money within their AWS resources. They have some really, really cool products and an amazing patented program that goes in and helps you save and save on, you can get really, really good pricing options, even participating in the on-demand payment plans. So Archera, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and I'll turn it over to the first slide and I'll let you kind of take it away. Just let me know when you want me to switch to the next one.
Perfect. That works great. Thank you so much, Lydia. So we're very excited to partner with AllCode to deliver a completely free AWS cost and purchasing management platform and give you access to insurance and financing solutions that help you control your AWS costs and gain unprecedented flexibility in how you commit to AWS. And we'll get into what that means in a few minutes. So this actually really dovetails really well with what Lydia was just covering. So the diagram on the right here shows the 4 different ways it's possible to control cloud costs. At the top right, actually on the right side is a lot of the things that AllCode's really going to be able to help you with, working with you one-to-one without Archera. So at the top right is infrastructure impacting, where you're right and will yield to very high savings, right sizing, right replatforming, reprovisioning, transformations, getting your workloads on the right instances. And that's something AllCode can help you do and help you save money there. Then with a little bit lower savings, but usually found in like pretty high volume, are terminating those unused resources. So things like those EBS volumes, shutting down nodes that aren't being used heavily. That's where some of that lower hanging fruit is. So moving over to the left side of that diagram, that's really where Archera and AllCode are going to be able to help you when we're working together. So these are all cost optimization measures that require no engineering effort whatsoever. They don't impact your infrastructure, and they have, in general, greater overall financial impact. And what they're both doing, the top and the bottom here on the left, is they're kind of trimming the top off your AWS bill, helping you size it down overall. And so I'll get into the details in a minute here, but Archera and AllCode are helping you ease the 3 challenges that are inherent to these 2 approaches here. So first, AWS commitments that Lydia mentioned earlier, savings plans known as SPs and reserved instances known as RIs. They require a minimum 1-year contract with AWS, and the same is true with the things on the bottom here, enterprise and private pricing discount terms. So you're getting in bed with AWS for a long term there, and you need to have a really good understanding of what your feature usage is going to look like. Secondly, because there's millions of possible architecture and combinations and savings plan and RI commitment combinations, prescribing the right commitment for the right infrastructure is a difficult endeavor to do manually. Even moving to the bottom there, once you qualify for an enterprise discount, negotiating and signing a private pricing or an enterprise agreement with AWS is often a long and drawn out process. And securing favorable terms with AWS on this private negotiated pricing requires that you have a detailed view of your future 1 to 5 year costs and usage, including any growth, optimizations, savings. So it's a very complicated calculus to do. And so we can help with both of these things on the left here. Finally, most importantly, with both of these, every second that you haven't kind of worked towards these and that you're having AWS usage that isn't taking advantage of either of these 2 things, you're missing out on savings, right? So these, again, are trimming basically the top off your AWS bill and are really low-hanging fruit for savings once you have the free tool that Archera gives you to start achieving them. So Archera is solving those 3 problems and works with AllCode to make savings on the left side of the diagram accessible to your organization. So next slide, please. So how is Archera doing this? So Archera is basically a free cloud purchasing and management platform that installs easily in about 5 minutes and begins delivering actionable data within 24 hours. And AllCode would get you all set up with Archera. So on the left here, first, you're getting complete cost and usage visibility and the power to efficiently and effectively manage and procure savings plans and RI commitments across all the reservable AWS services, helping you maximize your use of AWS commitment-based discounts. So think about all the tools for managing AWS spend that Lydia kind of went through that are native to AWS. The Archera platform is like a combination of those with like superpowers that's totally free. We give that totally, and I'll get into how we make money in a minute, because the question we always get is like, we're giving away our solution for free. How do you guys actually make money? So plus, on top of all that, we're going to help you plan, purchase, and manage your AWS commitment strategy. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we do that. So secondly, on the right here, installing Archera unlocks access to new savings strategies through our unique insured commitments, short-term alternatives to regular savings plans and RIs that we call guaranteed savings plans and guaranteed reserved instances, GSPs, and GRIs. When you choose to insure an AWS savings plan or RI with Archera, we apply an insurance policy to it and we transform it into a guaranteed savings plan, GSP, or guaranteed reserved instance, GRI. What this insurance policy guarantees is that you'll be rebated if you no longer need the commitment after as few as 30 days. So if you think back, reserved instances and savings plans are for 1 or 3 years. What we're doing is attaching an insurance policy to that. So if you no longer need that commitment after 30 days, Archera will rebate you for the remainder of that underlying lifetime of the commitment, basically turning it into a short-term commitment. In return for that, just like any other type of insurance, you're paying a small insurance premium on top of the original savings that you would have gotten with the savings plan or RI. So the savings are slightly less than what you would achieve with a 1 year or 3 year reserved instance or savings plan, if that makes sense. So by cutting the term way down, it enables a bunch of unique strategies. One of the unique things that it does is it enables a commit first strategy. So if you're new to AWS, if you're still moving things to AWS, generally the way optimization works is you kind of have like, this is what our infrastructure is going to look like. Now let's go back and optimize things. Archera, these guaranteed reserved instances and guaranteed savings plans enable a commit first strategy. So for workloads that and usage that you know is going to persist for a year or more, you can buy regular. You can use the Archera platform to determine where you should buy regular reserved instances and regular savings plans and apply it for that usage, and that's all totally free. If you have usage that you're not sure about, and this is across all reservable services, so that's about 10 or 11 different services. You can, if you think that it's going to be at least for 30 days, you can start getting savings on that. And there's absolutely no risk, right? Like you're going to get a little bit less savings than you would with a normal reserved instance or savings plan. But if you don't need that commitment anymore after 30 days, we will rebate you back for any of the losses due to holding that commitment. So these are great for also any kind of usage that might persist for less than a year. So workloads that are within transformations or recently migrated, experimental projects, support infrastructure for LLM training, seasonal workloads. Archera and AllCode enable you to get savings plan or RI-like savings while cutting the risk of holding the commitment down to as few as 30 days. So then finally, as part of the free management capabilities of the Archera platform, AllCode and Archera will work with you long-term to help you grow the sophistication of your AWS usage. The Archera platform includes powerful tools for modeling the future cost and usage of your AWS infrastructure, so you can negotiate and secure sort of the bottom of that diagram on the previous slide, those long-term negotiated discounts. So we'll help you model what your usage will look like 1, 2, 3 years out in a very sophisticated fashion. We can add in, any kind of future projects, optimizations, really help you get a detailed sense of what your usage is going to look like, and then help you negotiate down the right private pricing with AWS. So in summary, reach out to AllCode to learn how they can help you save more flexibly, and do so while gaining even more control over your AWS cloud with Archera.
Thank you, Jeff. I feel like you're a lot more scripted than I am, but I
Well,
love it. Thank you.
I hope it was, I felt like as I was hearing your presentation, I hope I'm not too in the weeds, but I'm also happy to take any questions too, because I know I had a lot of detailed information there.
Yeah, no, so it's super helpful, and I think we are at the Q&A portion of the webinar as well. So if anyone does have questions, as we have Jeff on the phone, which is a huge opportunity to find out more about the cost savings with Archera. I will say it is an amazing program. We have some of our clients already on it. The cost savings is huge, and it has made our customers really happy. So if you are one of our customers that is not on there and you have questions, this is a great opportunity to ask. And then if you have any just general questions in regards to AWS billing, this is a good time to raise your hand, put it in the chat. And if you
Do you
don't
see
have
that?
questions,
Do you see
go
there's a
ahead.
question from Scott McKinnon? Did you see that one in the chat pod? It's been there for a little
No.
bit, so maybe you hadn't
Okay.
seen it. I can read it to you. It says, how does one
Yes.
know what, and this is in regard when you were presenting about just kind of the general cost strategy. So how does one know when what all the different tags are? Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. So I assume kind of understanding the definition and the denotion of each of those tags.
So I think Scott, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can actually unmute yourself, but I think, are you talking about on the graph of the usage? So those are resources that we have configured within that account that we are leveraging for whatever projects on there. And those aren't necessarily tags, but those are like products that we're actually using. And they would be things that we need for whatever that customer's needs are. And then it would show you, and then we could detail out like what it is that we're leveraging. I think with Scott is actually a current customer of ours. I think that we have like a couple different things that we're leveraging. I think like S3 is on there. I don't think that there's no virtual private cloud on there. But if you would like, we can set up a time to walk through your billing and see if there's any kind of more configuration that we could do that would help ease any of your needs as an AWS client.
Okay, well, thank you. It's just that,
Hey,
I look
Scott.
at the, hi, how are you?
Yeah, Scott, we're gonna put you on. So it's on our to-do list. I'll get to it later today. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, man.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, let me go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pull up something really quickly. Our final slide. For some reason, it did this last time. It would not show you our thank you slide. Let me just pull this up real quick. And again, if you have any other questions at any other time, you can reach out. I'm going to give you my email address. I will also give you our info. Let me see if I can pop this up really quickly. I think we have it. All right. I know it's always the fun of running technology, right? Okay, let me pop this up real quick, just our closing slide. Okay, so thank you everyone who took the time to join us for this. I hope you are walking away with some important information, some things to think about, and maybe some solutions to some of your AWS billing and cost optimization needs. Again, I am Lydia. My email is right here, lydia@allcode.com. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Anyone that is on this webinar today, we are offering you a free cost optimization assessment That includes an hour with one of our AWS experts going through and auditing how you can benefit from both some of our resources and leveraging Archera as well. So please do not let that opportunity walk away, because that is a really big opportunity. And go ahead, you can reach out to me for that, or the info, or you can even call us and go ahead and get that started. And thank you so much for everyone that has popped in to attend. And Jeff, thank you so much for coming on and giving us more details around the Archera solution.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.